Okay. Let's see if that did it. Let me know if you can see or hear me right now. Alright. Video and audio, thank you. Brilliant. Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to Paleontologizing. This could be our last stream from Wyoming today, so I'm glad you're here. We are swiftly approaching the end of the field season, but I'm back again at the ceratopsian site today. We'll actually be closing the site out this afternoon. Should be pretty easy. We've got a few more hours to try and find some bones, and well, shoot. It's almost better if we don't at this point. But we shall see. We'll be coming back to the site next year. It's very important, but anyhow. Welcome to Paleontologizing, everybody. If it happens to be your very first time here, whether you're watching live right now, hello chat, or whether you're watching later on in the VOD or on YouTube or wherever, I'm glad you're here. My name is Danny Anduza, and I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. You probably know already that a paleontologist is a scientist who studies fossils. I work on dinosaur fossils in particular, hence dinosaur paleontologist. And that's what we're digging up here, or trying to at least, is dinosaurs in a late Cretaceous almond formation of Wyoming. So these rocks are about 73 million years old, and they're largely unexplored. There are 0 dinosaurs that are known from this formation, none that are known to a genus or species level. Very good shot that anything we get out of here will be new. So this horned dinosaur that we've been digging up is probably a new species, maybe even a new genus of horned dinosaur. So we're very excited about that, and we want to get as many bones out as we possibly can, but we're running out of time and funding. So we're actually going to be going back to Utah on Sunday, day after tomorrow. Today we're closing out this site, and then we're going to start packing up camp and, yeah, making sure that we're all set and we get those fossils safely back to the laboratory. But it's so good to see everybody. Welcome. I'm going to grab my water bottle and we'll go up to the quarry. But if you've got any questions at all, please don't hesitate to ask. That's the beauty of these live broadcasts, is you can ask questions in real time and, you know, we can have a little chat right here live from middle of nowhere, Wyoming. It is beautiful territory out here, and really lucky to be able to broadcast to you from it using magic of satellite internet right there. So let's grab my water bottle. Oh, and my visual aids too, which I keep in the satellite pouch right here. Let's go on up to the quarry. There we go. Yeah. And Caspian says, how do you find fossils? What kind of ground, I mean? Sedimentary rock. So paleontologists, we dig in rock rather than archaeologists digging in soil. And so we've got to find... Do I hear an echo? Is Ken watching the stream right now? Nice. But yeah. We are 2 crew members short as of right now. We've had 2 left to go back to Pittsburgh. Lauren and Katie just left a few minutes ago. Matt Lamont took them out there. So, just the 4 of us right now today.
4th one.
Yeah, there's Bennett right there. There's Nick. There's Ken. And here's me.
I force quit the app so you don't have to hear yourself anymore.
Thank you. It's like at home when the headphone settings aren't right and I'm like hearing an echo of myself. Like, it's awful. So let me put the camera down over here and we'll get going. There we go. Clean off that lens. Just dust everywhere. That's an occupational hazard out here. Unavoidable. Let's see. That looks pretty good. Like that. There we are. Nice. here, keep that in the shade. That's looking okay. I think we're good. Apologies if we all seem a little tired and loopy today, chat, because we are. We've been out here for a while. And yeah, this is day, I think 29 or 30 for me without a shower. I think 29. So it's been 29 days since I've actually slept in a proper bed or really used a flush toilet or I don't know, that kind of thing. But going home soon. And Caspian says, where do you find how old these rocks are? So that's kind of a complicated question. We will have some direct dates on these rocks pretty soon that we'll get from radiometric means. So by studying the radioactive isotopes and finding some of these rocks, you know, think of them like a geological hourglass. They start counting down as soon as the rocks are formed. And so by looking at the amount of different radioactive isotopes, you can tell how long it's been since the rocks were deposited. We'll have an exact date from those, hopefully later this year. But every other line of evidence that we have suggests these rocks are about 73 million years old. So from the Late Cretaceous. Yeah. And Oklahoma Girl says, how hot is it here? It's actually pretty nice today. I'm guessing it's in like the 80s? Yeah. And Little Boy 24 says, is that Nick? That is Nick right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
83?
83? You'd say?
No, I didn't know if you were looking.
Oh, let me look at I can look at my thermometer. We can actually get an exact reading.
Watch. It's like 78 or something.
Let's see. 87 and dropping. I guess it's hotter inside the bag than it is out here, so it's recalibrating. 86. Yeah, 85 degrees.
Nice.
Pretty nice. Yeah. That's Fahrenheit for everybody at home. Not Celsius, thank goodness. Yeah.
Everyone.
It'd be a very different stream if that was
Everyone not in Iran and the United States was all of a sudden very concerned.
Does Iran also use Fahrenheit?
They did up at least, like, I think within the last 10 years, they're either one of the few countries besides us or the only other country besides us.
Interesting.
As far as I know, they still do, but they
Uh-huh.
can change.
Liberia does.
Liberia?
Yeah, because,
that makes a lot of sense because
yeah.
they're like basically a U.S.-derived country.
Yeah, and they also use like imperial measurements.
And Little Boy says, I heard Nick found a new site. You want to talk about that, Nick?
Yes. I did some prospecting. So that's Carlin. Carlin's my best bud back at home.
Nice.
What's up, Carlin? Yeah, so I went out prospecting. I don't know if chat could see me or not.
Let me turn the camera a little bit so we make sure that they can. There we go.
All right, yeah, I was a little. I wasn't on Danny's stream for the past couple of days because I was out prospecting, looking for new fossils, new sites. And yeah, I'm proud of myself because the first time I ever done it. So I found at least 2 good sites that hopefully has dinosaur bearing elements in there. Yeah, that's about it.
Cool. Yeah, nice. We can see it too. I'll turn it a little bit. Any idea what the sites are? What kind of critter?
I'm gonna say hadrosaur.
Yeah,
and maybe
it's a good bet.
A ceratopsian.
Nice.
Because let's see, I don't know how much I can really say, but just from the first site, I named it the Shane site after my brother Shane.
Nice.
And that one, I believe, there was some he thinks ceratopsian related bones around it. It's really hard to tell, but I guess he really said that and looked at the site after my sister. Which, you know, is right now deemed as the best site of the year. and might have hadrosaur stuff because there's been hadrosaur teeth all around that area that we've been climbing.
Nice.
So yeah, that's at least you can guess on it. We'll never know for sure until we actually start digging and collecting.
And we might get to do that next year.
Yeah.
Ethan's out exploring some of those sites right now.
It's a walk. It's a hike.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, hopefully we'll have some good sites where we can dig in at the beginning of next summer. If we're able to get funding to come back out. And Cody Reed says, what's the coolest thing that you've ever found that wasn't dinosaur related? Oh, I don't know. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, so I can make anything dinosaur related if I try hard enough. You know, I find a way to relate it to dinosaurs. But shoot, I don't know. I found fossils of other critters that weren't dinosaurs. They may have lived at the same time as dinosaurs, but yeah. Things like champsosaurs and crocodiles and turtles. Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough question. Yeah. Oh, Golganek is saluting you in chat, Paleo Ken.
Hi, Golganek.
Hey, Grim Deviant. Volcano Doc, it's good to have you here. Welcome, everybody. Smitty Werber says, I found a $20 bill in my pocket once. That was cool. That is pretty cool. Yeah. It's like, oh man, I get to eat this week. Yes. I remember that was what it was like for me in college. Yeah. Reese Dago says, finding the bucket. I didn't find the bucket. That was, you're talking about the Barnum Brown bucket, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I didn't find that. Somebody did back in 2021, I think. Probably Ethan found that. Yeah. Drink some water. But yeah, we're just kind of taking it easy today. We kind of halfway don't want to find any bones because, you know, it's the last day at the site. And so uncovering something new is would complicate things. So, yeah. But we're trying to work back as much of this rock as we can today. Within reason. Not get too ambitious. It's a little late in the season to be hyper ambitious about this. But we're doing our due diligence. Clearing away some more of this rock to give ourselves a little bit more of a head start for next year, if we're able to come back. How many weeks have you been out here for, Bennett? So far, how many weeks?
I've been out here?
Yeah. 4, 5 weeks?
Yeah, about 6 or 7, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Nick, what was that, 11 or 12 weeks?
Yeah, I don't know.
Months?
I lost, the tally marker is just, in my cave is just dribbling at this point. There's just nothing there.
Nick was talking about how he was putting, like tally marks on the inside of his tent or on a rock or a...
Right now, I resort to a cave now.
A cave, okay.
Yeah.
But your chalk has been depleted?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Start using rocks to just scratch into the wall.
Yeah. I'm losing it. Now, how many? It's been 3 weeks? 3.5? Something like that.
Yeah, I've only been out here for like...
Chalupa Batman
6 days.
XXX says, do you get annoyed with any of the helpers? All of them. I'm sick of everybody out here, you know, definitely.
Okay.
We definitely have not become good friends over the course of the summer. No, I mean, occasionally you're living cheek by jowl with some of the same people, like, you know, 24/7 for weeks at a time, and like, there's moments where you might get on each other's nerves, but it's, you know, I said moments, and I picked that word carefully because it's really brief, and, you know, we rely on each other out here, and, yeah. I don't think we've had anybody really terrible out here, so it's been good, for sure. Yeah. And Nick Oliver says, $10 says you exposed the skull on the last day.
We actually cut it a day short just so we wouldn't have to worry about that.
Well, all we found from this site so far we think is skulls, so if we find any bones at all, you will be absolutely right, Nick.
I would have put 50 on it, so.
All right, just wrap it up now. We're done. Nick owes me $50.
We'll split the $10 4 ways.
Yeah.
We'll get a couple of spicy potato soft tacos for that much. Taco Bell.
It's not even a Flying J shower.
How much is a Flying J shower?
$17.
$17.
Free if you know me.
Hooray.
Ken once rescued the. He saved the life of Jay of Flying J fame, and he gets free showers for life now.
Am I telling us that story?
I'm a truck driver, so I when you fuel up there, you get a free shower. So
No, I'm just saying. No, how'd you save the actual Flying J? Like what?
Yeah, how'd you save his
How'd you
life, Ken?
save him?
Make up something good.
no.
I cannot tell a lie.
I can tell a lie, but not today.
You saved him from a black bear.
Hey, Dyson Dinosaur, how are you doing? Welcome, welcome. It is good to have you here. Yeah, we are trying and so far failing to find more of this dinosaur. Oh, Dyson Dinosaur, you rated in. Thank you, thank you. I hope you had a wonderful stream. And that must have been, is today Friday?
Friday.
Oh, which would be... Yeah, that would be Saturday morning.
Would it be?
Yeah. Is it late enough? Let me look at my phone.
I don't know. No, I think it's still, it's still Friday night in Italy, so it must have been,
Yeah, you're right.
or in Europe in general.
Yeah, you're right, man.
Yeah, but everybody, maybe the only other dinosaur paleontologist on Twitch is right there, Dyson Dinosaur, in the chat. Follow him for, well, tomorrow is going to be an English language dinosaur stream, right? Yes. Excellent. Anyway, Filippo, I appreciate the raid. Yeah. And Nick says those Flying J showers are legit, though. I still need to have one. That's been,
Don't get Fishers. Don't get number 1.
Fisher managed to find the one where the shower didn't work.
It probably worked. It's probably just
probably
some
just didn't know how to do it.
strange voodoo, like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you ever go to a friend's house and not figure out how the shower works? That's probably it. Because every shower is built
You
different.
don't just ask your friend?
Well, yeah, but like at first you just try to figure it
okay.
out and you're like, oh.
You don't shower with your friend?
Really good friends.
I shower with my friend at home.
Yeah. And it's 11 p.m. there in Belgium. Excellent. Thank you, Dyson Dinosaur. Yeah. And Big Mo says, if you had a magic wand, what would you wish to be tough in schools? Did you mean taught in schools? What would I wish to be tough in school?
Me.
I wish that was big.
I wish that evolution were properly taught in U.S. schools across the board, you know? That would make my life so much easier. People understood common descent and phylogeny and all that stuff.
Convergent evolution.
Yeah. I don't know, what about you, Ken? What do you wish were taught in schools?
I mean, the same, or just like basic logic.
Yeah.
Basic logic.
Logic is good.
You know, discernment of ability to see through con artists, you know, stuff like that.
I like that. Critical thinking.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
about to say that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any other answers?
Also, no liver. You're a beast. You did amazing. Thank you.
Oh, he knows.
I'm sure he knows. But
Yeah. And can you teach human decency? Asked Sloppy Salamander. I
They
wish
try
you
that
could.
in elementary school. It doesn't stick. Yeah, the golden rule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharing is caring.
Yeah.
You can't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
Bring
As
back
I
the
interrupt
speed
you.
limit.
You're good. Yeah. And Lonely CPU Gaming says, out of curiosity, what do paleontologists eat while out in the field for long periods of time like you've been?
We do a lot of hunting.
Yeah, a lot of dust. Just kind of consume as a matter of course.
Mice we find.
Yeah.
We actually feed the chipmunks our food, and then we eat the chipmunks.
It's like pate.
It's a circle of life.
Yeah.
No, I mean, in all earnestness, we usually have a pretty simple breakfast. You know, cereal and milk or oatmeal. A lot of people have been eating. I just have a protein shake every morning for breakfast, just water and protein powder. For lunch, you know, we make simple sandwiches for ourselves and we bring them out to the field. So we make our sandwiches in the morning, and then we've got like fruit snacks, fruit cups, little bags of chips, applesauce, mixed nuts, that kind of thing for lunch. So pretty simple. You know, kind of like a school lunch that you'd pack from home. And for dinner, for me and the other two vegetarians, veggie burgers for me and Bennett. And
Two
Fisher
of the
Nut.
vegetarians are in fact here.
Yeah. Wow, it's 50-50 in this quarry. Wow, that's an excellent ratio.
That means more meat for me.
That means
Don't eat
the
us,
two
please.
of them are gonna eat the two of us if things go south.
You're
That's
lower
probably
trophically.
true. Yeah, we are. Yeah, lower on the trophic web. We have fewer heavy metals in us. But yeah, a lot of veggie burgers. Might make spaghetti or other kinds of pasta. We had ramen one night. We had some crew members bring pizza from town. That was really nice. And yeah, what did the non-vegetarians eat?
A
lot of steak, right?
Spaghetti, hamburgers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Salmon.
Yeah. Fresh caught from.
Yes. From the wonderful oceans of Wyoming.
The Dune Sea.
Western Interior
Yeah.
Seaway, of course.
Yeah. And Cool Island Song 24 says, hi Ken, from Doug from Texas.
Doug! Hey Doug! We miss you!
Yeah, we do miss you, Doug. It's good to see you.
Petty D!
Uh,
What's his handle so that way I remember it? Island.
Cool Island Song 24.
Cool Island song.
Yeah. Anyway, it's good to see you, Doug. We wish you could have stayed longer, but, you know, life gets in the way sometimes. But hope you're doing well out there in Texas, and, yeah, we miss you.
Glad I'm
Let's
not
see.
the only person that is turned to following you after they have had to leave here.
Yeah. That's going to be half the people in chat pretty soon. Yeah. Someone is asking if we found any more bones of our ceratopsian dinosaur. No, not yet. And unless we find some in the next couple hours, we won't have any more until next year. Provided we're able to come back here.
We still have a really good haul, though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's yielded a lot of really
Absolutely. We've got,
fantastic bones.
was it 11 jackets from the
11,
site?
11 jackets we got.
Nice. And some of those have multiple bones in them, so.
Yep. I think the most was NS24-4 that had about 4 or 5.
Nice. Yeah. And so Nick might be working on those in the lab
Yep.
in the fall.
Are all those going to Carnegie?
Yep, the ceratopsid is. Yeah, then we're gonna prep that and get it all together. I just want to work on that big parietal because that feels super awesome.
Oh, and Nick says, thanks, Ken. I tried my best, but honestly, I'm utterly disappointed that I didn't get the mummy foot block down before I left. How
Only
hard-
because of rain, man. Only because of rain.
Yeah.
Like you. We
Sometimes-
literally just had to take it down the hill. I mean, that sucked, but
Yeah.
you set everything up.
We had like, what was it, 6 people? 8 people on the stretcher?
We quickly decided that trying to actually carry it was a horrible idea, so
Yeah.
we just
Just slid it down.
lashed it and slid it down. So
And it took about, I don't know, about an hour or something like that?
yeah.
And yeah, we've got a chipmunk friend over there.
It might have been slower. Well, like after the actual. You're talking about altogether an hour or taking it down?
Just taking it down itself.
I think it was probably more like 30 minutes.
Yeah. But gravity certainly helped a lot with that. Yeah, we got it done, but it would have been nice to have you here, Nick. Yeah, and then Volcano Duck says, have you or anybody there ever had issues transporting specimens after collecting? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Shoot, yeah.
Several 100-pound jackets to 1,000-pound jackets, and we don't exactly have the budget for
a helicopter or a cargo elephant or anything like that.
How much do you think an African bush elephant, a male, can tug?
Oh, goodness.
How do you convince it to not decide that you're its enemy in the process? I think that's the better question.
You have to make friends with them, yeah.
I know, but there's a reason why they're...
You pull a thorn out of their trunk.
There's a reason why elephants are matriarchal and the bulls only come in for certain occasions. Because you don't really want to deal with them. So.
Also, I guess, it's Asian elephants that are usually used as beasts of burden. I don't know if anybody's successfully done that with an African elephant.
And lived.
They are different genera.
Just a simple question.
I don't know.
How much
If you were able to convince him to do it, are you talking about like he's got a harness on and can pull, or he's just pulling with his trunk?
Let's do a harness.
Harness.
Like, how much can he use with his weight to pull something?
I don't know. Probably at least a few thousand pounds.
Well, how much does it weigh?
So the biggest ones I think are about 3 tons. So about like 6,000 pounds, something like that.
I bet it could at least pull its body weight.
Yeah, you're probably right, yeah. Hopefully. They don't seem very stationary. I know, you're totally right. You're totally right. I don't know. I'm like loath to give mammals too much credit. It's just, that's my own bias there.
And Dreadnoughtus. How much do you think Dreadnoughtus can pull?
Oh,
nothing, it's dead.
Probably 1 million tons? I don't know.
The whole Earth.
Yeah, and they could shoot lasers out of their eyes and swim up waterfalls.
Yeah,
wow, that's
in the air sacs.
Common name is Gojira.
Yeah, he shoots lasers. He's charged up the air sacs building up.
Let's see. And there you go, Silva S7. Life finds a way quote. I like that. Jurassic Park classic. And D. Deebs says, how's paleontological digging different than archaeological digging? We have much smaller budgets. There are far fewer of us in the world, and we're digging in rock. Like, this is bedrock in here. Like, you see Ken using that chisel and that hammer.
This versus...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Did you get a bunch of dirt in your face?
Yeah.
Oh. Sorry.
Occupational hazard. Yeah, so we're digging literally in bedrock as paleontologists in rocks that are millions of years old. Archaeologists are basically digging in soil most of the time, or alluvium, or recent fill like that. So the digging itself is much more. I don't know. I guess it's more difficult on a granular level because the strata are just so much tougher when you're digging through rock instead of soil.
You could talk about the stuff that Nick Oliver was doing over there with just the sheer sandstone and having to use saws, picks, and saws and chisels.
Yeah. So at a few of our sites this year, actually, the matrix is just ultra hard sandstone, like really, really iron rich. This stuff is extremely heavy and extremely tough. So.
Oh, and Doug too.
Yeah. Doug was doing that absolutely. So basically, you need to cut crisscrosses in it with a rock saw, and then use a hammer and chisel to just remove pieces that might be, smaller than a deck of cards, and just do that bit by bit by bit until the blocks are small enough that you can carry them down to the vehicle. And that's going to be a real pain to prep out too. So actually removing the bone from that rock that's much harder than concrete, it's tough. Yeah. So I don't envy whoever's going to have to work on that in the laboratory. But it's important stuff. Very good chance that we've got a new kind of duck-billed dinosaur.
Yeah, Nick, how would you prep that sandstone?
Oh man. Well, I guess a lot of small power tools that'll like just try to get the sandstone away or the matrix off of the bone. I haven't done anything like that yet, so I'm sure that they'll be great. They'll teach me how to do it. But I only done stuff that's kind of in this muddy or in this silty or shaly mudstone.
So no air scribes yet?
Yeah, I don't know if you'll use an air scribe on that.
For some of it, you would.
On the hard.
I mean, that's yeah. For
sandstone.
some of like an air scribe is the only thing that could actually cut through that, just
Yeah.
bit by little bit. We had a big Thessaliosaur skeleton at Museum of the Rockies that was in like a giant ironstone block. It was just complete skeleton except for it's missing the head, part of the neck, and then I think the end of the tail. But the rest of it is probably in there. And so there were like 3 different preparators who all got carpal tunnel working on this over years and years and years with air scribes, because the rock is just extremely tough and the bone is extremely soft. And so, yeah. And the block itself was so heavy that they couldn't put it on display upstairs because they were afraid it would fall through the floor.
That's crazy.
So it just had to be down in the basement. Thankfully, the collection space is also in the basement. But they had to like prep it in the collection space, if I remember correctly. Like wheeling an air compressor and all that stuff. Yeah.
I just know that the squamosal that you guys found last year that I prepped, that had some sandstone matrix attached to the fossil itself. I just use an air scribe and some water.
Nice, yeah.
And just soften it up and then you blast it away or
Yeah.
through it. And that helps a lot. So maybe something like a mixture of that.
Sure.
Try some sort of softening.
I mean, it'd be really hard to soften that like ironstone stuff, so I think you might just have to go straight at it with the air scribe and then just go through a lot of...
Use a really large air scribe.
Yeah, a high-powered one.
Like sedimentary rock that feels more like granite.
Yeah, yeah, that's nuts. It really does feel like granite, which is crazy. Yeah. And DM Wing says, is there a YouTube channel? I do have a YouTube channel, which is mostly just the Twitch VODs posted to YouTube. That's actually where I got my start in Science Outreach Online, was making YouTube videos, but it just never really panned out, you know? YouTube is not really the greatest platform for this kind of outreach. I found that Twitch is much, much better. And then someone had a question too about like what we would do to, if we did find a bone today that we couldn't get out in time, how would we protect it over the winter? And the answer is we'd build a winter jacket. So basically just a plaster and burlap cap over the top. Make sure it's nice and snug, and then you throw a bunch of sediment over it and just hope that everything stays on over the course of the winter until you're able to come back the next year, if you're able to come back the next year, which is not always a guarantee.
Ethan did retrieve the jacket like that from T-Bone.
Nice, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah, so we did have a site that I streamed from last year, actually, where I did some jacketing. You were there with me, Kim.
Yeah, that's the famous jacket flip.
Yeah. After I left that summer, everybody was here for a few days, and they found another bone underneath. Or did we actually find it before?
I think you did find it. And
yeah.
When we got tasked to get it out there, we were trenching around, and there ended up being a little crossbone underneath, which made it to the point where we didn't have enough time, and it wasn't important enough to get out at that time.
So we just had to build a winter jacket over it, and actually, I don't even remember doing a winter jacket.
No, you were gone by then. That was me, Fisher, and I think Josh and Harry was prospecting at the time, but yeah, that was us out there after you'd left.
So yeah, you just hope that it'll be there when you get back. And oh boy, we got a raid from Captain Elina. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Paleontologizing. We're here. This is our last day in this quarry, trying to find more bones of this horned dinosaur this year. And so far, no luck. But that's, I guess, both a curse and a blessing. Because if we found another bone today, that would complicate things. We'd have to do a winter jacket like I just talked about. But anyway, it's good to have you here. Yeah.
Go check on Fisher.
Yeah, go for it if you want to. Yeah. And Yuki Ani VT says, could you use the bones to make soup? That would be expressly against the terms of our permit here on Bureau of Land Management, federal public land, to make soup out of these bones. Also, it would taste terrible. and these bones are far too scientifically important to do anything crazy like that. I'd recommend maybe bones from extant animals still around today. But it's good to have you here. Yeah. And Alien dropping in to enjoy some dino time. Captain Elena, I appreciate the raid. Thank you very much. Says, I found you guys some days ago. You guys say the most interesting stuff and wanted to show you all to my community. I really appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. And No Play at Work, thank you for the Prime sub. I appreciate that very much. And Listener says, do you guys ever eat dinosaur nuggets?
Well, we should do that on the last day. We should go in the Walmart and grab like 8 bags of dino nuggets.
I saw some vegetarian ones recently,
Yeah.
which
Make
is
dino nuggets?
yeah.
They should all be herbivores though.
That would be funny.
Well, but they're not actually made from herbivores. They're made from theropods. Yeah, for everybody watching, this is
No, I'm saying the
oh,
veggie-
the plant ones.
The plant ones should be
I
shaped
see what you mean.
like stegosaurus and stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, dinosaur chicken nuggets are one of those weird things where, you know, they're all processed and put into artificial shape, but that artificial shape actually represents what they are, because birds, including chickens, are dinosaurs. So if you eat dinosaur chicken nuggets, not only are they shaped like dinosaurs, but they literally are dinosaurs. Yeah, kind of interesting to think about. I don't really eat meat, so yeah, I could get some plant-based ones, I guess. But in fact, I might want to try that when I get home. It'd be nice, see if they're any good. And how's the dig going, Danny? It's almost over, Madibs. It's almost over. Yeah. And happy Canada Day long weekend, y'all, says Miggity Marty. I had no idea. Well, a happy Canada Day long weekend to you, too. We're working right through it, because we've got today and tomorrow, and then we leave on Sunday. So we've got to close out this quarry today. Nazoon says, I'd never realized that all chicken nuggets are dinosaur chicken nuggets. I suppose that's true, yeah. Alright. Gonna move in on Ken's turf a little bit over here while he's gone.
I won't tell him.
Thanks. Yeah, don't tell, chat. And Utah dinosaur dig in a little over 2 weeks. Exactly, Kodali, yeah. I'll be out there starting on like the 16th, 17th might be the first day that I stream. So, excited about that. And we'll be digging in rocks a lot older than this. Not from the late Cretaceous period, but from the very beginning of the Cretaceous period. Some of the oldest Cretaceous rocks in North America or in the world. And Silly Cat says, what's involved in closing down a quarry? It kind of depends where you're at and what the local Bureau of Land Management rules are. When I lived and worked up in Montana, I'd be digging in like the Hell Creek Formation. Closing down a quarry meant like taking a bunch of shovels and doing a bunch of extra digging, like basically, you know, shaving down the hill so that water would all drain off, and maybe throwing a bunch more debris back into the quarry to kind of cover it up and make it look more natural. We don't have to do that here, which is awesome. So here, closing down the quarry is going to mean packing up all of our gear, making sure we do a sweep of the area just in case there's any bits of plaster or other trash that have managed to get away from us. So we'll just clean up as much as possible and then kind of leave it as is. We don't really have to do any extra digging to close out the quarry, which is really nice because we'll be, with any luck, returning to this site next year and doing some more digging. So we'll just be able to kind of pick up where we left off. And Captain Alana says, digging rocks is never boring in the right company. It's not the dinosaurs we find, it's the conversations we had.
I think the real dinosaurs were the friends we made along the way.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you, Bennett.
Thank you, Bennett.
Let me turn this a little bit so we make sure we get you on camera, too. There we go. And Yuki on VT says, no, I think it's mostly the dinosaurs you find.
Okay, yeah, that's
Fair. Yeah, that's why we're out here at least, but, you know, conversations are a wonderful part of it too. Yeah. Yeah. And have I done any digs in the Maastricht Formation? I've never been to the Netherlands, actually, no. Aerodynamic Fetus, what a great username.
aerodynamic fetus.
Yeah. I'm glad I pulled it up because it's green on my screen. I couldn't read it, but so I had to click in and. But no, yeah. Well, if you're talking about I think it's in Holland itself, in the Netherlands. The beds at Maastricht, where Mosasaurus is from. Never done any digging there. I've never been to that part of the world, but I have dug in a lot of Maastrichtian age rocks, like in the Hell Creek Formation of Montana, and it could turn out that the rocks we're digging in right now might be earliest Maastrichtian as well. The Almond Formation of Wyoming. We think that it's latest Campanian, but it might be latest Campanian, Maastrichtian boundary. We could even be in the Maastrichtian right here, right now. We don't really have a super firm date for these rocks just yet, but could turn out to be Maastrichtian. Yeah. And oh, it's near where you live. Very cool, aerodynamic fetus. Yeah. So rocks all over the world that are from that slice of time are named after Maastricht. The Maastrichtian stage is at the very end of the Cretaceous period. So, yeah, that was like one of the first places in the world where those age of rocks was first studied. So, pretty famous. That's the only reason I know what Maastricht is, or where it is because of Mosasaurus and the Maastrichtian stage of the Late Cretaceous. And when you leave, is this area not available to the general public? Asked Shayna. It is, just like Fall Machine was saying. But yeah, Wyoming is a large state with very few people. There are fewer people who live in Wyoming than in any other U.S. state. So Wyoming is probably about as big as, I don't know, the UK maybe in terms of landmass. But it's got a population that's like 400,000 or 500,000 people. So very sparsely populated out here. And yeah, with any luck, nobody's going to come tramping through the site. But if they do, and we don't find any bones today, like, what harm are they going to do? What, they're going to dig a bigger hole and help us out? Like, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Yeah. And Dangerous Button says Wyoming's population is smallest by a significant margin. Oh yeah, yeah. I wonder what the second least populous is. It's probably like North Dakota.
I thought it was Alaska. I could be wrong.
Yeah?
I'm not sure.
I want to say North Dakota has like 700,000 residents. Montana has over 1 million now. That's where I used to live. Yeah. Loved Wyoming, all but the South Pass by heart. Very nice, Fenlong. Cool, cool. There were more pronghorns in Wyoming than people 10 years ago. We have seen, in a given day, we might see more pronghorn just driving around out here than we'll see people in cars. Which really says something, because the pronghorn are at least camouflaged. You know? Not as prominent as vehicles driving around. Pronghorn don't kick up as much dust, too, when they move around.
Oh, sorry. You're all good.
Yeah.
We get that angle, that peak.
Oh, and Vermont is the second least populous state. Thank you, Disorganized Human. Neat. Well, Vermont's very small, though. There are counties in Wyoming that are larger than the state of Vermont. I'm sure. And Lily to you wants to know, this is a question for all of us. If you had unlimited funds, where in the world would you want to go on an expedition?
Ooh. That's a good question.
I would say Antarctica. And some of those funds would go toward, paleontological exploration, but then some of those funds would also go towards stabilizing glaciers and stopping them from melting, because that's going to be really bad if some of those enormous glaciers end up in the ocean. Sea level will go up like that. So, if we're talking unlimited funds,
Just thinking big.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
I would love to do work in Cairo or the
In Egypt?
Morocco, the Bahari Oasis.
Yeah, that's in Egypt, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen, the lost dinosaurs of Egypt, but
You should. It's on YouTube, yeah.
I need to, but I just love the fauna and flora, prehistoric wise, that's present.
Yeah,
I feel like
pretty
it's
cool
a
stuff.
history.
Egypt is just a really interesting place all around. Yeah?
I would love to do some work in China.
Yeah.
Yeah, working on some of the new stuff they got coming out of there. Because like you said a couple of days ago, it's literally just a hotbed right now.
Absolutely, yeah.
Species.
Yeah. Jim Kirkland talks about that all the time. He's like, oh yeah, the quarry wall at Dinosaur National Monument? Imagine that, but it's 1 kilometer long and, just absolutely full of dinosaurs.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. And Dangerous Buttons, that does make sense. That Alaska does have a lower population density than Wyoming. Of course, it's Alaska is 10 times bigger than the rest of the United States combined, right?
That's what I heard, yeah.
There's this wonderful book from The Onion. It's like an atlas, and it's called Our Dumb World. And some of the last pages on it are just on Greenland, and it's like the world's largest landmass. You know how Greenland looks really big and like a Mercator projection of the
That's really funny.
It's good stuff. I should have brought that book. It's a good book to just have in the field around the campfire.
I have an atlas. I've forgotten what it's called, but it's basically it's an atlas of completely made up islands.
Oh, really?
None of them are real.
Uh-huh.
It's funny to just read through. There's data on the people who live there and the cultures, but none of it is real.
It's all fictional. Well, the Onion Atlas has a free globe inside.
Oh.
Not really. It says that on the cover.
Yeah, I was like... Free globes.
Could we get an Amazon wish list started for Matt's outdoor shower? Asked Bensman1. We can. Yeah. We'll have that for next year. Maybe if we're lucky, he'll be out with us again. And maybe we'll be able to squeeze in one more stream with Matt before we all head back home. We'll see about tomorrow or tomorrow night. Yeah. And Yuki Oni says, I know there's a command for Danny, but what are the other two guys' favorite dinosaurs? This is only the 9th time you've gotten this question, I'm sorry.
The more I thought about it, it started to change.
Yeah?
Because, once I saw that thing, I was reminded of Cosmoceratops.
Cosmoceratops?
I love Cosmoceratops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All those horns.
Yeah. And, to, be able to be there, right when it first got discovered and see them prepping it was,
That's pretty
such
special.
a magical moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite is Carnotaurus.
Carnotaurus.
I love the Abelisaurids.
Pretty neat.
Carnotaurus is just so unique looking. I remember looking at it, reading about it in a book, and it's this guy looks cool. He got tiny little arms, but he just looks like he has a mean attitude.
Yeah?
So, love me some Carnotaurus.
It's that crazy, snub nose snout thing
it's
going on.
A face only a mother could love, but throw me in there too, because I love it.
There you go, yeah.
It's like a pug that's a dinosaur. It shouldn't exist, but...
A pug that could rip you to shreds without
yeah, with just a forearm. Yeah, no, I love them. I think they're awesome animals.
Yeah. Good answers, yeah. Carnotaurus is really cool because it's carved out a place for itself in popular culture.
Mm-hmm.
and like become, I don't know, a fairly well-known dinosaur for people who know a thing or two about dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's a very unique
Yeah.
theropod. You know, nothing really is like it.
But there's only one skeleton that we have from it.
Yep.
Which,
it's
like,
a really good skeleton.
That's always my go-to whenever I'm trying to explain to people, like, the majority of dinosaurs that we have are known from one skeleton, and it's almost always a very incomplete skeleton. With Carnotaurus, we do only have one skeleton of it, but at least it's fairly complete. We're just missing the hind limbs and most of the tail, and almost everything else is there.
There's even skin impressions. Cool.
Yeah,
You get to see the texture of its skin.
I think they originally prepped some of that off and threw it away before they knew what was going on back in the 80s.
Oh man.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, it's just rock.
Yeah.
I thank you whoever asked that question. No,
A Cosmoceratops is pretty neat too.
Yeah.
Like, I remember driving down from Montana to do collections visits at the museum in Salt Lake, and like photographing that Cosmoceratops skull from every angle. It was cool. It was really cool.
Ken, you got a favorite dinosaur?
I'll just cut to the really, really non-cliche and just say Camarasaurus. So.
Nice.
Nice. Have you seen the one in Pittsburgh, the juvenile?
I have not.
It's like 90% complete.
Oh, you've seen a cast of it at Dinosaur National Monument.
Oh, okay.
It's the same one,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Oh, they have a
Yeah.
cast of it?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like, this is where they got it from. Isn't
Yep.
it cool? Yeah.
It's funny that it's...
Well, the
Cast.
original is in Pittsburgh.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying the cast. That,
Exactly. Yeah.
Dinosaur was.
Yeah, that's funny that the cast is in where it was from.
Yep.
In the,
That might be the most complete non-embryonic sauropod skeleton ever found.
probably. I think it's only missing a couple cogwheel a bit.
I think so.
Something
Yeah.
like that. Like 2.
Sadly, I have never been to the Carnegie. I've flown into Pittsburgh once,
Well,
and so saw at that time the skeleton in the airport, but didn't have enough time to go to Carnegie.
Is it a skeleton in the airport?
Yeah.
it's the AMNH Rex.
Oh, is it?
I have a picture. I'll show you.
Huh, okay.
But, it's really cool because
Oh, not the Wonko Rex?
it is the Wonko Rex.
It is the Wonko Rex. Okay, cool.
Is it not the AMNH?
No.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Wonko Rex is from Museum of the Rockies.
That's it,
And then we
Museum of the Rockies.
we gave it to the Smithsonian
Okay.
when I was there.
Yeah, it's that. It's
It wasn't
that
my
Rex.
idea, but
And
yeah.
it's really cool because he's
Dare
right in
you.
between 2 escalators, so you could go up and
Nice.
just
The airport in Bozeman also has the Wonko Rex skull, but just the skull.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then a big Triceratops skull that you can like sit on because it's cast in really tough resin.
It's like
That's a
that.
specimen we call Mort.
It's like that guy in
Morty.
Kong Skull Island that sits on top of it with a minigun or something like that.
Oh,
You know
I haven't
what I'm
seen
talking
that.
about? Okay, there's
Huh.
a scene in the 2017 Kong Skull Island.
And there's a Triceratops skull?
There's this Triceratops skull in this big bone bed, and he sits on top of it with a minigun. Pretty cool.
I always thought it was funny that like minigun sounds like it should be small and ineffective, and it is neither.
Yeah, I call it a Gatling gun sometimes,
Yeah,
but minigun is, I guess, is more universal.
Minigun puts the Gatling gun to shame because the Gatling gun is more like what they had in like Civil War.
They did use it in the
Yeah.
Civil War. I don't think it worked super well, but they did have them. In a few battles, I think. Yeah.
But if you were to call them,
Yeah.
chronologically, it makes sense to call them the same thing. So.
Yeah. Dr. Tara wants to know if any amphibians been found in the Almond Formation yet. I found a frog the other night, but that was a live one. I think we do have some amphibian remains from Turtle Hill, and maybe from Q-Town, that other site that Quinn found last year. But I would ask Ethan or Fisher. They would know better than I would. We've probably got some salamander verts or something from Turtle Hill at this point. Yeah. And ever seen a Vulcan cannon? Is that the one on the A10 Warthog? If so, then I have the big Gauss 7. And Silfurian says, have you personally discovered something that has significantly altered your understanding of a particular prehistoric era or species?
Not that you can talk about.
Yeah, not that I can talk about yet, actually. Yeah. We've got a dinosaur from the Hell Creek where we've got something really cool going on with it that I can't talk about yet. But it is new. You know, it's not a new dinosaur, but a new discovery about that dinosaur that can kind of change the way we look at a particular group of dinosaurs, but I can't talk about it yet. I'm sorry. It's not published yet. Yeah. And Blobrano wants to know, could this site be a lake or an island in a lake? Yeah, we think this is probably like an oxbow lake or some sort of fetid pond or something like that. Ken laughs every time I say the word fetid.
It's my favorite new insult. You fetid pond.
But yeah, this is, just kind of a really low energy water system. So I just pulled this up right now. So this is a piece of mudstone right here. And there's all this organic-y stuff in there. Bits of ancient plant and who knows, maybe little bits of animal too, but those seem to be mostly plant bits in there. So yeah, pretty still water environment. Mudstones are generally like from the bottom of a lake or a pond or, something like that where you just get fine sediment accumulating and, it's like a mucky kind of lake bottom. And so that's what this would have been 73 million years ago. Sandstones are generally thought to be from like the bottom of a river or a stream, something where you've got flowing water, you've got sand being deposited there. Siltstones are kind of in the middle between a mud and a sand, if I remember correctly. Does that sound about right? I don't know, it's been a long summer, guys.
Yeah,
it
that
makes
sounds about
sense,
right.
because the river
rivers
flowing
and-
is going to drop only at the heavier grades.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. And then if you get something with like big cobbles in it, like a big conglomerate, that's like a high energy system. That's got to have enough.
Flood.
Yeah, either flood or like a river with a lot of
or glacier.
a lot of energy. Yeah, it could be like glacial till if you've got certain kinds of cobbles in there. But at the time that we're digging it, like 73 million years ago, the age of these rocks, there probably were no glaciers on Earth. Or if there were, they were like way, way, way up in the north or south. Earth's climate would have been a lot warmer than today. And I think there are some points in the Cretaceous where it's thought that there was no ice on Earth anywhere.
I mean, definitely would have been the Campanian with the high sea levels.
Potentially, yeah. I think part of that too might have to do with like mountain building or something like that, where it's just like, yeah, you've got elevated sea levels, but it doesn't necessarily mean that there's more water in the ocean, not locked up in glaciers or whatever. I don't know. Jim would have a really good answer about this, I'm sure.
Is this the one stream that we don't have Jim?
I don't see him yet. Yeah. But, I don't know. He's got other things to do, I'm sure. And, let's see. Biohazard wants to know, do you think that if dinosaurs had lived longer, that dinosaurs like Carnotaurus would evolve to completely lose their arms? Yes. I do think that. I think the arms of Abelisaurs were probably mostly vestigial. Same with Tyrannosaurs. I think they were probably on the way to just losing their forearms entirely. Because that's kind of the thing. When you're a dinosaur, a meat-eating dinosaur walking around on two legs, you're kind of balancing on that central fulcrum right there. And if you've got a big, heavy, deadly head full of teeth and jaw muscles and everything else, you can't have big, huge, heavy arms, too, or you just fall on your face. So this is a trend that we see in different groups of big meat-eating dinosaur, is the bigger their heads get, the smaller their arms get, just for balance. And so, exactly, yeah. So by getting rid of your arms entirely, you might be able to have an ever bigger and more deadly head. And that does seem to be the direction that they're trending in, but we never got to see that, fully come to fruition because they went extinct 66 million years ago.
Even though they're not as comically small, even the Carcharodontosaurs chose a large skull over large arms. So,
Yep.
I mean, chose, but yeah.
Yeah. You do have kind of an alternative in things like Acrocanthosaurus, where they've got those long neural spines coming up off their back. And so that might give them a little bit of leeway to still retain larger arms and a big heavy head. but neither their arms nor their head are particularly... Their arms are not as small as a T-Rex, and their heads are not as big as a T-Rex. So it's like, you can have a little bit more weight up front if you've got those, almost like a suspension bridge, like with the tower in between, and you run ligaments up and down to keep either end up. But, yeah. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Yeah. But yeah. And Yenzoku says, how do paleontologists get paid? What do you mean get paid?
What's that?
Money.
We're all volunteers here on this crew. I'm getting paid through Twitch because this is how this is my day job, is streaming. But I'm not getting paid to dig, you know. And you just make sure that they're not destroying any important fossils or anything as they excavate a foundation for a new hospital or whatever they're doing, you know. So there are a lot of like companies that hire especially younger paleontologists to work on job sites like that, construction sites. And I would guess you don't hear it talked about a lot, but I guess it's probably like half of the employed paleontologists in the U.S. probably do paleo monitoring, I would imagine.
And there are a lot of people that are working towards making it more accepted.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But I only know of one paleontologist in the world who live streams full time. Anybody crazy enough to try that, and that's me. So, yeah. And, wait, hang on. It cut out for a minute. Yeah, but we're back. Okay. What was the last thing you heard, chat? So I don't have to repeat myself fully. Yeah. See, it keeps disconnected. Did my router fall over? Yes, it did.
Uh-oh.
I don't think that's why, but I will turn it back up. Turn it back upright, so we stop getting disconnections like that.
Ken, I found some plants.
Yes! We fixed.
What's that? I think we're back on. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. So I don't know what the last thing was you heard, everybody. It might be paleo-remediation. So like paleontologists being on job sites, being hired by like remediation companies. It's like a, you know, like a company will get hired by a construction firm in order to make sure that like they're adhering to local guidelines about stuff not getting destroyed. But yeah. And let's see. Somebody said most of the geologists and paleontologists get jobs in oil and gas jobs? Not anymore. No. There's almost zero jobs for paleontologists in oil and gas right now, from what I understand.
There tends to be more invert workers.
Yeah. And it used to be that way. Like, I don't know. I think much of the exploration that's been done for fossil fuels in the past, I think a lot of that stuff is basically done now. Stuff is mapped out. You don't really need to have paleontologists there to tell you how old the rocks are because most of that stuff's been mapped at this point. So I know a lot of, or a few, invertebrate paleontologists who used to work for oil companies, but those jobs have long since disappeared. Yeah. And no worries, Lenina. Yeah, take your time. And Charlie's Dragon says, think of paleontology more like an expensive hobby than a job. I mean, oh, that's depressing. I don't want to think that. No, there are definitely paleontologists who make a decent living, but those jobs are few and far between. So like Matt Lamana can tell you all about that. He makes a decent living as dinosaur curator of the Carnegie Museum in Pittsburgh. But, you know, that's honestly like a I don't know. He's a big shot, honestly. And so yeah, those jobs are not they're not easy to come by. I know Matt seems he's like super cool and very self-deprecating, but he is a big name in the field. I don't know if everybody in chat like fully appreciates that. Yeah, he's a big name, and jobs like that do not come around very often.
A lot of times they disappear after somebody retires.
Exactly, they just get rid of that job when somebody retires or dies. Yeah. It's funny, when I first started like hanging out with paleontologists when I was in high school, I was volunteering at the museum in Berkeley. Anytime there'd be like a visiting researcher who would come through, the number one like topic of gossip and conversation was always, you know, which jobs are opening up, who retired, who died, who got this job, who's applying for that one. Like that was the number one thing that visiting researchers would talk about when we'd go out for lunch together. You get paleontologists in the same place and like, yeah, that's often one of those things that they discuss. Maybe not in the field, but like in a museum setting, that's very often a topic of conversation. Nuclear Cowboy says, did you hear about the ankylosaur skull found in the Hell Creek in Montana? I did not. We've got a number of ankylosaur skulls from the Hell Creek. But is this a new one? I did not hear about that. I basically have internet access for like 2 or 3 hours every day, and that's while I'm talking to you. So, I'm pretty disconnected from the outside world here. Yeah. And Gran Bridget says, are there evil rogue paleontologists that excavate to sell to private collectors? You said it, I didn't say it.
Turn to the dark side. You said you'll destroy the Sith. Can I join them?
There you go, yeah. If Matt were here, I'm glad, I appreciate that you're filling in for what Matt would say, yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
I like how the chatter said selling commercialized is evil. I mean, like, I agree.
I mean,
I agree, but
I'm not gonna say it. Evil is a strong word, but you know, maybe
Misguided.
I mean,
unfortunate.
I feel like you're ignoring your contribution to this with the whole "it belongs in a museum" commands.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you ever said it, but you're not discouraging the thought.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah. Morally questionable, Murph. I think that's a great way to put it. Yes. Gimplex says, evil is a strong word and stunningly accurate. Yeah, I think we had another question here. Oh, Zenwalker says, what is the best path to becoming a paleontologist? To be born independently wealthy and have parents who are already like university professors. So, you know, choose your parents very well.
Find the right people to mentor you.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Be born in a country that already has, you know, like robust infrastructure and excellent funding for science. Yeah.
And never make a mistake of any kind.
No, in all earnestness, though, the best piece of advice that I can give to anybody who's watching who like wants to go into paleontology, wants to become a paleontologist, the best piece of advice that I can give you is put yourself in a place where you're talking to paleontologists. You know, get yourself into a museum, whether you have to volunteer or whether you just, I don't know, not everybody can afford to volunteer in a place like that, but if you can get a job as like a custodian or a front desk person in a museum, and you can just be where the fossil science is happening, that will open up doors for you. So when I was in high school, I learned that there was a museum of paleontology not too far from where I lived, in Berkeley, California. So I was able to take the train to Berkeley during the summers, and they didn't actually have an official volunteer program, but I started working there as a volunteer. I kind of, oh, hey, Chipmunk. But yeah, I got myself into that, and that's really where I got my start in paleontology. From there, I was mentored by some paleontologists. I got to work on fossils, got to talk about research, got to participate in research, and from there I got good recommendations for, you know, where to go to university, and that got me into like some prep work stuff, so like working on cleaning fossils in the laboratory. Yeah, that's where I got my start. So best piece of advice I can give you is get yourself into a museum by hook or by crook, and put yourself where the action is. Yeah.
Just piggybacking off of that.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be a museum. Like,
Yeah.
The only reason I'm sitting here today in this quarry is when I was in high school, I reached out to Jim, and he didn't say anything. And I reached out to Don, and he was like, come by my office, we'll see what we can do. So I just came by one day after school, and I was like, so what's the deal over here? What are you guys working on? And he showed me around the prep lab, and he showed me around the collections, and sort of showed me the process of what they were doing. He was like, so you're interested in kind of volunteering here at the prep lab? And I was like, absolutely. So for like 2-3 days a week for my senior year of high school, I was just always there working on prepping fossils, getting experience, making connections, most importantly.
Yep.
With people like Ethan, who, you know, Ethan texted me in, April, May, and he was like, hey, want to go to Wyoming this summer? And I was like, yes, I do.
Nice.
So that's the only reason I'm here, is because, like, literally, sending an email costs you nothing. And the worst they can say is, we don't have any positions, and the best they can say is, you know, 6 months later, come to the field with me.
Bingo. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to send more than one email. That's something that I've had to learn because I hate disturbing people. And people are not good at reading their emails. This is actually a good crew to ask this question to, because Nick can definitely give you a more traditional route. As somebody who is dumb enough to try to do this later in life, you don't really have a chance to mess up. So I ended up researching everything slowly, step by step. I ended up doing pay to dig at Dinosaur Journey in Grand Junction. Sadly found out that I loved it. And then from there I made a friend who has been a good mentor, and I ended up going to Society of Vertebrate Paleontology as a non-student, non-professional to research the field, see the bloody noses, get rid of any kind of illusions that I may have had, to actually legitimately understand what the field was, the chances of actually securing a job, all of it, before I decided to commit. So, and then Nick, more traditional?
Yeah, more so. I guess where I start. I got my degree in geobiology from Penn State. So you want to look for a good school that does either a really good geology program, a good biology program, or just, if they rarely, they'll have a paleontology program or something built around it. And you just got to do a little bit of research online and some interviews. And if you want to take the college route to get a degree, look up some stuff evolving around those 3 subjects. And then once you find your college or you get accepted to one, kind of build your coursework around stuff that you're interested in. For instance, under my geobiology program, it was basically 2 2 degrees in one, and so it was heavy on the geology side, heavy on the biology side, but I was able to pick and choose what I could. So I did a lot of evolutionary biology. I did a lot of I couldn't do comparative anatomy because just the class was full and it was really difficult to get into. But I did do zoo archaeology, which is a archaeology course, but it's heavy on anatomy and prehistoric, or just not even prehistoric, but dead individuals from archaic sites or that are involved around human civilization. Anyways, but it's heavy on the anatomy. So stuff like courses like that or ornithology really help build your foundation for paleontology. And then after that, look for some graduate schools, either work trying to get a master's or a PhD. As of now, I've got accepted into a Indiana University of Pennsylvania for a master's in biology. And just kind of, it's networking. So you want to rub some elbows, talk to some paleontologists, get connections. Again, going off of what Ken said, and Danny, don't be afraid to send an email. That goes a long way. I emailed, like 10, 15 different paleontologists, and everybody's super nice. Couldn't ask for anything better, and they'll do their best to help you out or give you suggestions or recommendations. But yeah, again, piggybacking is get involved and find stuff that, build your coursework around what you're interested in, because you have the power to do that.
Yeah, thanks, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, hope that answers your questions. And Rikami says, I'm 57. Is that too late? I mean, it's not too late to participate in fieldwork like this, or to do lab work, or that kind of thing. Unfortunately, so much of this is geographic. It's like, do you have a program near where you live? Is there a museum nearby, or can you get yourself out to an area where you can do fieldwork, that kind of thing?
A lot of museum prep volunteers and other volunteers in general are either retirement age or high school age.
Yeah. Somebody in the chat was saying that it was really frustrating that they tried to volunteer in a prep lab, but everyone who's got a spot in there is in their 60s, and there's no spots left, and it's like just kind of waiting for people to die.
Yeah.
Which that's often how we feel looking for jobs in paleontology too. Yeah, it's been said before that paleontologists don't retire; they just die, and yeah, that's true in a lot of cases. Yeah. And Care Bear Bonfire says, I'm 34. Is that too late? No, definitely not. No.
You'd be 90. It's never too late.
Yeah. Ken here is 57. And I'm just kidding.
He's 18.
Yeah, Ken here's actually 18.
Doesn't look a day over 20.
How possessed with unbreakable spirit and insanity are you? That is the question, because you'll be competing with people that are half your age, that are way more qualified, and you will try to be beating them out with life experience. So it can work, but yeah.
I might also advise, if you're, a person who already has a career, or if you're getting up in age, you don't have to become a paleontologist to do paleontology. You can participate in field work, you can volunteer in a laboratory, you can participate in research. There are a number of different people who paleontology for them is almost a hobby. They might have even a lucrative career in another field, but they also contribute to paleontology financially, or in terms of volunteer work or research. I think of Nathan Myhrvold, who I think used to be the CFO of Microsoft, I think. And he publishes on dinosaurs, and he does dinosaur research, which is really cool.
There are avocational groups like Dry Dredgers, I think, is out of Ohio. There's WIPS, Western Interior Paleontological Society in Colorado. There's Utah Friends of Paleontology in Utah. A lot of times they also have online class presentations that speakers have done, but you can join one of those.
Yeah, I really want to echo that with UFOP in particular. You can get on their mailing list, and you can like watch these talks and everything and ask questions, and it's a great way to build connections like that. If you're trying to like break into fossil science, find an organization like UFOP. You don't have to be in Utah to be part of the Utah Friends of Paleontology either.
I think there might be something in Texas.
Oh yeah,
too.
that's
just
how I
can't
got
remember.
connected.
Yeah.
With through UFOP?
Yeah.
Nice, yeah.
And
See, it works.
They
The
pointed
system
me to
works.
Jim, I think.
Nice. Yeah. But yeah. Let's see. Me Popsicle says, do you need a college education to volunteer? Absolutely not. No. I mean, I know some paleontologists who don't actually have even like an undergraduate degree. And that's rare, but, it does happen. Like, so Jack Horner, for instance, like, he is very, very dyslexic. And so schoolwork was very difficult for him. But he went out there and he found fossils, he conducted research, and his degree, his PhD, is actually an honorary one. But he's like one of the leading dinosaur paleontologists nowadays. And yeah, it definitely is an uphill battle if you don't have credentials like that. But the cool thing about paleontology is that you can still participate and you can still get things done. You can still be a paleontologist without having those credentials necessarily. Because it's more about fieldwork and research and actually doing the stuff than I think it is in some other scientific fields that might be a little bit more credentialist. Sulfurian says, I'm curious, what's the most challenging part of your work that people usually don't think about?
Anything logistics, water, food.
Yeah.
Nobody anywhere thinks about that.
Yeah, just basic
Transportation.
survival stuff out here in the field. Yeah.
For me,
Yeah?
I'm gonna say it's just other people degrading on you for being a paleontologist.
Oh, really?
Growing up, it's a whole there's no jobs, there's no do something else. My entire
Oh yeah,
life,
people trying to steer you away from
they're
fossil
trying
science.
to steer me away. And
Sure.
it is degrading or demoralizing, saying that it's not worth it or there's nothing there.
Uh-huh.
But,
Or people being like, that's like something you'd want to do as a kid, like.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Like,
it's
grow
something
out
like
of
that, and you'll grow out of it, or
Uh-huh.
I just love the science. I like science, and this is the field that I really like to do. And yeah, that's probably the most challenging thing.
Interesting.
But I try to feed that to boost my morale as to prove them wrong type deal. And
Yeah.
so far it's working.
You'll show them.
So
Awesome, yeah. You're out here. Shoot.
yeah. So if there's anybody out there who told me not to do it, look at me now. So.
There you go, chat.
I actually find
Yeah.
that dissuasion useful. I mean, because
Yeah.
there are definitely people that might have gotten into it that maybe weren't putting enough thought into it,
Yeah.
and you do have to build that
Yep.
iron will against that.
That is a thing that we had at Montana State where they actually, I don't know if they still do, but they used to offer a paleontology major at Montana State University.
I don't believe they still do.
Yeah.
When I was applying, I was looking for paleo majors.
Yeah.
And literally Alberta is the only place you can do it.
That's really disappointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
one of the
bad.
reasons I don't live in Montana anymore.
It's not bad to get a broad base though. before
Definitely
you-
not. No.
Yeah.
But it's kind of lousy that so few schools actually have they name paleontology like that. It shows that they're placing a priority on it. Because that's why I went to Montana State, was the Museum of the Rockies and the Montana State Paleontology program. But anyway, because they had that, there were a bunch of people among paleontology majors, it was 90% of them were all freshmen, and then second semester rolls around, they all drop like flies.
Yeah.
And that would happen every single year. Because a lot of people, I don't know, if you grow up middle
Especially
class
with
or upper
Jurassic
middle
Park.
class, yeah. But if you grow up upper class, upper middle class, or middle class, and you're always told that of course you're going to go to college. I think a lot of kids think, oh yeah, well, paleontology, that's cool. I like Jurassic Park, and I don't see a major offered in anime, so I guess I'll do paleontology. And that's. Yeah, those people often don't last in the program. I hope I'm not being too salty, but
It's called business.
yeah, I don't know. Somebody had to really kind of fight to be able to go to college in the first place, I think I always have kind of a chip on my shoulder about that.
I also have a chip on my shoulder. I messed up college the first time, and the only reason I can go back is because of the GI Bill. So
Yeah.
40, 50 some kids.
Yeah.
She had a small class.
Let's see, and we had...
It was really fun.
Oh, Quick Meteor is saying, I'm glad you're playing with Bones, Nick. Says Quick Meteor. Do you know them, or...?
Yeah, I know Quick. He's a friend of mine.
Nice.
No, we're not playing. I'm not playing with any Bones today.
There's
Just,
none
just
here so
mud.
far, yeah.
Solid mud.
Which
we'll
is
be playing with Bones in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I will.
playing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's
I'm
technical scientific work, but, you know.
I'm there with the ceratopsian for in one hand, and then I have a tyrannosaur tooth. I'm like,
We shall call it this land.
Rick Ami says Gen X didn't whine about student loans. I mean, well, shoot, college education, you know, you could get that for a song back then. I don't know. It's way more expensive nowadays. And also the job market is much tighter because everything requires a college degree, so it's tough. Shoot. I know people who have, like, you know, gotten a PhD and then a postdoc, and then they are looking for jobs and there's just nothing. So they end up working at Target or Walmart or something. And they might have, you know, $70,000, $80,000 in student loan debt. It's tough. It's tough. I feel really lucky that I've been able to kind of carve out a niche for myself doing science outreach full time, because, man, it's rough out there.
You can do everything right and still lose. That's a quote from Star Trek, and Dave Levering's been putting it up a lot lately.
Oh, yeah?
He tries to...
He's great from SVP, yeah.
Well, he's really tries to set up that there are jobs outside of academia, since that's been so discouraged for so long.
I really need to interview him on stream when I get back from the field. Maybe in August or September. Yeah. But yeah. But yeah, Quick Meter says, go Nick, go, chisel that area. Yeah.
this mudstone is so hard.
It is nuts, yeah. And Science Streams, it's good to have you here, Belinda. Welcome.
Belinda.
Hope you're having a good day. Yeah. Diagonal says, I trained as a botanist, so I am a leaf on the wind. I like that. Yeah.
Watch how I swore. There we go.
Yeah. And that's an interesting path, Chudley. Science, sci-fi, and then fiction. Very cool. Yeah. But yeah.
We should do a TV show like Ghost Adventures, but it's dinosaur adventures. And we investigate paranormal outcrops. But instead of... We
also
sit here.
don't find anything.
Yeah, we just find nothing.
Looking in granite for dinosaur bones.
Igneous rock. Did you hear that? Glowing ball at
It
it.
would at least be, you know, cheap to make. I'm convinced that's why there's like 70 different ghost hunting shows. Is like
Expedition
you
Bigfoot.
just have people stumbling around in the dark and hearing bats and freaking out and oh, did you hear that?
There's some producer that either watched or grew up watching Blair Witch Project and was like, I'm going to make $1 billion.
There you go.
That was
Yeah.
filmed not too far from where I live.
Really?
There's Blair County, and it's
Oh.
like 40 minutes or something.
Huh. So it's an area well known for its witches.
Very.
Nice.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things is that the show Finding Bigfoot,
It's a misnomer
it got canceled after 11 seasons.
because they didn't find
they never
Bigfoot.
found
Should have called it not finding Bigfoot.
Like Renee was like, no, it's not. And like, shut up, Renee.
I always thought that those shows are really funny because, like, even if you do like believe in Bigfoot, and like you watch that show with rapt attention, you're like, oh, this will definitely be the episode where they find Bigfoot. It's like you wouldn't be hearing about it, you know, through a rerun on a TV show
Yeah.
on Discovery Channel. It'd be front page headline news all over the world. But I don't know. People are bored, I guess. Yeah.
Danny, have you seen that thylacine hoax?
Yeah,
Yeah.
online. I've seen glimpses of it on Twitter.
What did they do?
It was just some AI image of a guy saying he found the thylacine on trail cam footage, and you could obviously tell it was terrible AI Photoshop. And
Mayor Space, regarding the ghost hunting thing, says, you dramatically run towards various rocks and yelling about them while the camera is held at a Dutch angle. I mean, that's basically what I do on stream anyway, when I'm out in the field. Yeah. Anyway, and oops, it's highlighted. Oh, Anonymous says, wouldn't it be an idea to open up your fundraising for next year's dig now? That you get so many viewers every evening with the live dig. Start it early? Potentially. I don't know. I gotta talk to Ethan about that. Because this whole project is kind of his baby. And so, yeah, we have gotten some donations just from like really cool people who really enjoy these broadcasts. We might not be doing more fundraising, like crowdfunding. It kind of depends. We will definitely be having another like supplies wish list on Amazon. But I gotta ask Ethan what his vision is for fundraising for next year, and then I'll know where I can help out. But I like the way you think, Anonymous. Yeah.
so that's why you got to follow Danny on Twitch and all his social media platforms to stay up to date.
I mean, hopefully they are already if they're watching, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Oh, there you go, science. Yeah. Really like these streams and need more every year. Anonymous, I appreciate you saying that, yeah. I'm actually looking into maybe doing some field work in like early September, but we'll have to see. There's a lot that has to go right in order for that to happen. But yeah, stay tuned. Yeah, I'd love to be able to travel more next year as well, and later this year, and do streams from other locations. But, yeah, we'll see if finances allow for that. Mayor Space says, follow Danny on his MySpace to keep up to date. There you go, yeah.
Burn. Millennial burn.
Yeah.
Did you ever have a MySpace?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was 1,000 times better than Facebook. I'm sure it would have, if it had lasted. Oh, I guess is it still around? But I'm sure if it had maintained social relevance, that it also would have gone the way of Facebook. But
well, I remember after Facebook kind of took over, MySpace became like kind of relegated to a particular niche, where it was like banned web pages.
mm-hmm.
Not banned like they got banned, but banned like, you know, music bands.
It was starting going that way even before.
Yeah.
That was too.
Yeah.
Banned commercials or something.
I was like, what's on there?
No, that would be like Kick versus Twitch right now, where, you know, anything goes over there, and there's all kinds of crazy illegal stuff.
That rock wren really likes that particular
Yeah, it's
rock.
got a bug in its mouth too. Look.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so cool that they can do a song like with their beak closed around a bug. Yeah.
I wonder if like other birds
Quick
are
meteor.
like, don't sing with your mouth full.
Oh yeah. Bad bird etiquette.
He's actually on his mighty rock roaring about his accomplishment that he's able to hunt. Have a successful hunt.
It's funny to call it a hunt when you're talking about like catching a grasshopper as
It
a bird.
is.
But it totally is. Yeah,
It
yeah.
totally is.
It reminds me of people who are trying to popularize the idea of herbivorous predation. So plants as being like herbivores
preyed
being
upon.
plant predators. Yeah.
Well, I mean, when I took my bio classes, it is considered the predation when a deer eats grass, or like what's the symbiotic interaction between?
It is killing a living organism.
Yeah, an herbivore.
Well, you're not
plants.
eating the whole thing necessarily.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes if they're eating grass, they're probably not pulling it up by the roots. You know, but
It's like
And-
if you ate a salamander in axolotl's arm. Are you really?
is that being a predator? Well, I don't know, but that's also I don't know. I think of predation as being consuming an animal.
Yeah.
So like if you're grazing on algae, are you predating upon the algae? Are you an algal predator?
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's the term. Will be an algal predator.
But then there are other microorganisms that will eat each other, like an amoeba eating a paramecium or something. That probably is predation.
That is predation.
And they're not animals, right?
What? Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
they're organisms.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess those terms are loosey-goosey a bit.
Oh wait, alright.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
So I don't know.
If they just follow in if they're in the three domains and they consume something else. Because I think that's like the most basic definition of predation.
Is a Venus flytrap a predator?
Yeah, I would say so.
Consuming an animal? I would say so, yeah.
It eats flies.
Well, people say carnivorous plants and not predatory plants, though.
Well, it doesn't actively, hunt something. It sets a trap with pheromones.
Right. But other animals definitely do that. Like, would a sea sponge be a predator if it's consuming...
Zooplankton? Or
Yeah,
phytoplankton?
I don't know.
I mean, a lot of this is based off of us caring about sentience.
Yeah.
If you get all nihilistic, like, then is there a difference? I mean, obviously, some of us decide that there is a difference, but...
Yeah. Huh. Yeah.
We'll leave that up for chat's interpretation.
Anyway, let's see. Guy B says, when do you head back into the field? Oh, in mid-July. I'll be streaming hopefully on July 17th from Moab, Utah, or nearby. And how long will you be in civilization? For about 15 days. Be back I'm flying back to San Francisco on Monday. What's the first thing you plan on doing when you get home? Opening up the door and walking inside. And will you experience fieldwork withdrawal? A little bit, but I'm also going to be very, very happy to get my first shower in. That'll be 31 days at that point.
Around October, you will.
Oh yeah, for sure. Now, later in the summer, when I come back from the field the second time, there will be a little bit of fieldwork withdrawals, I think. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like for a paleontologist who does fieldwork, it's almost like our whole year kind of revolves around it. So it's like, that's paleontological New Year's, is the field season. And it's like, you get back to civilization and like you try and develop new habits, you want to improve yourself. Like, I'm going to try and start going to the gym. Yeah. Ken helped talk me into that, yeah. I'm looking forward to getting all kinds of...
you're going to get spammed, man.
Yeah, all kinds of advice. Because I don't know what I'm doing. I've never been to a gym before. I've only ever really done cardio before. I used to be a runner.
Don't skip leg day.
That was not going to be an option.
I never have.
Danny,
It's been leg day year round for my entire life. I've never had an arm day since I was born. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I always feel energized back when I get back to civilization after field work. It's kind of like coming back from a conference, and like I want to read all of the papers that just came out while I was gone. I want to become, even more up to date on the literature than I was prior. Just like building new habits. It's like a New Year's resolution kind of a deal. Yeah. And Valent wants to know, what's the first ideal meal back in civilization? I'd really want like some Thai red curry. Yeah.
And I'm really
I've been craving
a
that.
veggie burger.
Okay, Nick.
We've converted you to vegetarianism, Nick?
No.
Indian food, I just can't decide whether it be chicken tikka masala korma or sag, however you say
Sag
it.
paneer?
Yeah. No, just sag.
Oh, just, okay, gotcha, yeah. Yeah.
Paneer too.
Yeah. Man, Indian food would probably be second for me, honestly, yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Teriyaki, hibachi, grill food.
Nice.
That's what I'm looking forward to.
Ooh, I could murder some Korean.
Perhaps you should not
Korean
murder
food, I
Korean
hope,
food.
Oh boy.
I'd like to make a formal apology to the nation of South Korea.
What about North Korea?
And
Yeah,
North
no.
Korea.
Who cares?
The
Who
whole
cares?
Korean peninsula. But yeah, and thank you for the gift subs, everybody. Holy cow. Getting a hype train here? Beautiful. Yeah. And... But yeah, Penang curry too, absolutely. Vainglory, yeah. And not pizza, you'll have a bad time. No, we had pizza out here. Yeah, for several nights we've had pizza. When a crew member drove into town and picked up pizzas for everybody, and that was wonderful. Yeah, I don't think we have anybody in camp who's lactose intolerant, do we?
We did. I don't know if there's... I can't remember.
I don't think so.
Oh, is Fisher lactose intolerant? No?
But yeah, either way, we probably shouldn't announce it. But we did have one at some point, and I don't think they're here anymore.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Drink the milk.
Yeah, we don't want to do a HIPAA violation. Or hippo violation, even worse.
Yeah.
The teeth on those things?
They do not like being violated.
Yeah. Definitely not.
I like how they no longer play that. At least around where I'm at on the radio. Like around Christmas time, they play that.
I want a
the
hippopotamus for Christmas?
They no longer play that.
They don't?
You never hear it, or at least I don't hear it anymore. Because I guess because hippos are violent.
They don't want to give any kids any ideas.
Yeah, like, ooh, you could just jump in.
So many Christmas morning hippo maulings, you know?
If you go to the zoo, do not jump in the cage with any cat or hippos.
Or hippos,
Or zebras.
Yeah. Or zebras.
Zebras are
Or
really mean.
anteaters, tapirs, marmosets.
Just remember that wild animals are not pets to be petted.
No.
Yeah, don't go to Yellowstone and decide that you should get 2 inches away from a bison. So,
Or a black bear.
Yeah.
I went to a nature park. I don't remember where, but they had some marmots there.
Marmots?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were, everything was like in like super big, like there weren't, you could barely even see the fences because like the pastures were just so huge. They had like elk and all this cool stuff like that. And then they have these marmots.
Uh-huh.
And they're behind an electric fence that's like probably 20 feet
10,000
across.
volts. It's got the
And
Jurassic
like,
Park, like, you know, buzzing light thing on top.
I was like, really? The marmots?
Well, that's the thing. In Yellowstone, the yellow-bellied marmots will, like, walk up to people and they'll go like this. They'll go... Because people will feed them if they do that. They've learned to do this, like, hand gesture that people think is really cute. And they will absolutely just run up your leg and down your arm to get any food that you're holding out in your hand like that. And they're big, too. Like, it's like they don't know their own size and weight. But they're, yeah, it's an issue with various rodents. Like, we've had chipmunks here in the quarry who have gotten really bold, and we've very purposefully been not feeding them. And yet still they've been approaching us.
just because it eats plants does not mean it's gentle. Often the opposite.
Yeah, shoot, moose and elk and...
It eats plants and you.
Bison, yeah. Yeah. Blabrenus' plague. Yeah, I mean, prairie dogs and prairie dogs can have plague fleas on them.
There was actually these people who ate marmot in like Mongolia and like
Uh-huh.
diagnosed with like the plague.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Like capital P plague.
Yeah, there were prairie dog researchers in the U.S. I think in the 80s who came down with plague in Wyoming, if I remember correctly.
It doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, hantavirus is a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially after rainy years when there's overpopulation.
Yeah.
My school librarian in elementary school told us all about like all these people dying of hantavirus
Uh-huh.
and got me like terrified of hantavirus for a
Yeah.
year. I was like, I'm gonna die of hantavirus.
Only a year? I'm jealous, man.
Well, now I just have a healthy respect for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you, O'Craigar, for the 100 bits. Appreciate that. Yeah. And the plague is still active in Madagascar as well, says Anonymous. Interesting. Yeah, that's really sad that it made its way to Madagascar. Yeah. coming up on 5 o'clock pretty soon. How you guys feeling? Do you want to go to 6, or do you want to like wrap up the quarry at like 5:30 and head back?
Say 5:30.
5:30?
Yeah.
We can do that.
We're just hitting duds, dead end after dead end.
Yeah.
I mean, look how close I am to the wall, and there's nothing.
Yep.
This is probably going to be Fisher's long day. I'm going to check in on him
Okay.
before we leave and
Smart.
make sure. But
Yeah.
we're probably going to leave without him and then just make sure
Okay.
later.
Yeah.
I already texted Ethan about it.
Perfect.
Yeah, but
Thank
yeah,
you.
just one more check-in
Yeah.
before we leave. So
We do have tomorrow too, if he wants to, I guess, do that. Unless he plans on closing the whole tomorrow.
For Turtle Hill?
Yeah.
He will have to close it tomorrow. Yeah.
So yeah,
If not tonight.
Unless he changed his mind in the last hour, he wants today to be the long day. So.
Nice.
Yeah, he has there's a lot of stuff that's being yielded over there.
Oh, Fisher is doing his.
Long day.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody in chat, Fisher's over at Turtle Hill right now, and he's got to stay there extra long today so he can molt his exoskeleton and come back to camp all clean and fresh.
He's a lizard guy.
Come back more powerful than before.
Oh, is he in the government too?
Yeah, he's a government worker. He's a lizard person.
Anyway, no, Fisher just really wants to like do a long day at Turtle Hill because he's having a lot of fun over there finding all kinds of cool critters. As you got to see earlier, you know, what was that, last week, chat? Or a few days ago? I don't know. What is time?
Definitely on Monday.
Time is relative.
And let's see. Yanzuku says, how come there are chipmunks out there? I thought they like forests and trees. No, there's like 0 trees that we can see out here. Not even any pine junipers or anything nearby. The chipmunks just, I guess they eat sagebrush and probably insects and whatever else they can find. Various seeds, and they live in burrows in the ground. So they definitely don't need trees. Like, we have no trees anywhere close to camp, and we got chipmunks everywhere. They are a species of ground squirrel, chipmunks, so they nest in the ground. That's where they burrow. Yeah. And Snappin' and Neuron says, time is the continued sequence of existence and events. Oh, thank you.
I concur.
Yeah.
How quaint. Yes.
And Charlie's Dragon says, it looks so dry, I'm surprised anything lives out there. Yeah,
Life finds a way.
it definitely does.
Perfectly set up.
But yeah, maybe we'll list off some of the critters we've seen out here. Chipmunks?
Pronghorn.
Yeah.
Wild horses.
Wild horses? I have not seen any of those yet, but that's super
Really?
cool.
I have. They're really cool.
I saw
Yeah.
some my first day.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. I've not seen a single wild horse in 2 years out here.
Same.
so far.
Go prospecting, because that's where I saw them.
I did last year, and
Okay.
I found horse dung, but I didn't see any actual live horses.
Yeah, you missed it, because I snuck up behind one and I jumped on top and we rode it back.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
That's really cool, Nick.
Yeah. Did it have a horn on his head, too?
yeah too, and he actually shot rainbows.
Where can I buy your books of fiction?
It's in my link in my Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. And Dovahkiin says, what's a pronghorn? That's a good question.
Improperly called an antelope, just
Yeah.
because before we understood genetics, anything that kind of looked like something else, we called it that. But it is.
They're also called
It's-
speed goats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the only, or is it one of the only
It's the-
endemic mammals in North America? Everything else is Eurasian, mostly.
A lot of stuff. Well, there are other things
Oh,
too. Like,
but-
aren't peccaries native to? Didn't they first develop in North America?
I thought they were from South America, but that could
Yeah,
Oh, really?
I think they
Could be,
came
could
back
be.
up from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, one of the few. Like, we
Yeah.
have our own variants, but for the most part, everything else, be it black bear, grizzly bear, bison, elk and deer, there is some other form in
Yeah.
Eurasia.
There
This is
used
the
to
only
be-
thing that's just, or one of the only things that is just here. It's
Yeah.
also the fastest land animal on the continent.
Yeah. Some people say it's the fastest hoofed mammal in the entire world. But yeah, Antilocapra americana is the pronghorn. So they're a kind of Antilocaprid. They get called antelope. So like, you know, the song "Home on the Range," or the deer and the antelope play. That's the antelope being referred to in that song, or pronghorn.
Its closest extant relative are giraffes, and by extent, what are they? Okapi?
Okapi, yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean they're that close. It's just everything else in between has died.
Yeah. So yeah, they're the last surviving members of this group called the Antilocapridae. So all kinds of really cool hoofed mammals that lived in North America until very recently. Pronghorn are the only ones that are left. So they're a unique North American animal. You don't find them anywhere else in the world, and they are super cool. They can run at like 50 miles per hour or something like that. We think they actually evolved to be so fast to outrun the now extinct American cheetah.
Which was convergent evolution on cheetahs from something similar
Like a
to
jaguar.
or was it jaguar or mountain lion?
I don't know. I heard Jim say jaguar, but yeah. So yeah, both them and true cheetahs. I know it's kind of like an interesting niche where they're very specialized. And African cheetahs, which are true cheetahs, actually had this big population bottleneck at one point. So like they've got genetic diversity problems where there's been a lot of like inbreeding and stuff.
They have anxiety.
So yeah, the African cheetahs had a hard time of it, and the American cheetah is now extinct. So you could truly say that cheetahs never prosper. I'm sorry. I made that joke the other day on stream.
I was gonna say, Kate's not even here to enjoy the dad joke, so.
Yeah, maybe she'll watch the VOD. But yeah, Mira Psionics, that's exactly it, Charlie's Dragon. Yep. Yeah. But yeah, pronghorn are super, super cool. What else have we seen? Seen some birds? Some,
Mandy saw some mule deer.
Mule deer,
yeah.
right. Cool, cool, cool.
I found a gopher snake
Nice.
and those little thorn lizards.
Horned lizards?
And those racer lizards.
Yeah.
Have you heard
Spiny
any
lizards?
Frogs when it's rained?
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw a
Okay.
frog the other day. I almost caught it.
It's
It
been
was
a little drier.
right after it rained.
It's been a little drier this year, so I haven't heard them. So
Last night, me and Trent and Jesse went looking for scorpions with a UV light.
Yeah.
We found one, probably about 1.5 inches long, super bright and fluorescent. And while we were looking for them, we also saw a kangaroo rat.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're super
Coyotes.
cool.
Coyotes are there.
Yeah,
Oh,
we hear
yeah.
coyotes a lot of
yeah, we
nights.
also went up to that cave.
Yeah.
It's wild.
And it's sad. I don't like how
Yeah?
it's like he.
I need to take a look at that. I haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet.
it looks like he just kind of curled up in the cave, went to sleep, and died.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which could have happened.
Yeah, it also looks like maybe a rock fell on him, but I think that was after the fact.
Yeah, we got a dead coyote by camp, and is it skeletonized yet, or
No.
The
no?
fur's still on.
Wow, I want to
It's
take a
like
look at
not
this
even-
before we leave.
It's not that decomposed.
Yeah, probably pretty recent.
It does sort of smell though.
I think it's gamey. I think it's it was there the day we rolled into camp, so it probably died that
Yeah.
day or the day
No,
before.
probably before that, I imagine.
this isn't.
It's so dry out here that like
Mm-hmm.
a carcass can last a long time without, without rotting, or like it'll just desiccate. Yeah.
This isn't as uninhabitable as like a more traditional desert, but it is rough. It's rough during the summer and it's rough during the winter. So.
Oh yeah. No, we were talking this morning around the campfire about horses. Like, what do the wild horses do during the winter? Like, there's 6 feet of snow on the ground. I'm sure that's not everywhere.
They probably find
But-
the lowest place that they can, close to some kind of stream.
Yeah, that makes sense. I joked that the horses probably break into somebody's house and just eat Fritos all winter.
Cheetos, yeah.
Yeah. No, when I was staying on a ranch back in, I think it was like 2011 in the Hell Creek with Museum of the Rockies, there were these ranch horses that lived on the ranch, and they refused to eat anything that we offered them, like sugar cubes, apples. The only thing that they would take was Fritos. And so, like, every chance I got, I'd go over and offer the horses some Fritos, and they'd come right up, and they were, like, pretty appreciative of it, but not Cheetos, not Lay's, not Doritos. Fritos are the only thing they would eat. Very
I wonder
picky
why.
horses. Probably very well fed.
I guess they just love the salt too.
That's probably a big part of it. Yeah,
there's a
Fritos
lot
are
of
pretty
salt.
salty.
Yeah, and, like in my childhood, like we had horses, and no matter how cold it got, like they generally were always inside without any heaters. So a lot of times, if a mammal can take that kind of cold, like obviously not Xenarthrans, but if a mammal can take that cold, as long as they aren't all of a sudden introduced a dramatic temperature change, they can survive it. Like a lot of times, if you have an animal going in and out, then between inside a house and
Oh,
outside,
it's
then
like
it can be more
thermoregulation is more difficult for
Yeah,
them that way, and
yeah.
it just overtaxes them. Yowza.
Obviously, if it gets like 40 below or something.
Yeah. Sporky says Fritos chili cheese are so good. That was my like typical road trip food back then. When I was with Museum of the Rockies, I'd always get myself some chili cheese Fritos for the road. And that always felt like splurging because I lived paycheck to paycheck back then. And it was like the one time a year I would really get to eat that. I could justify spending, you know, $3.50 on a bag of chips at the convenience store. And Slalok says you can lead a horse to Cheetos, but you can't make him eat them. It's true. And It's Rain says my horse likes spicy chips. It's weird. That's cool though. Yeah. And Dovahkian says, is hunting allowed where you guys are, or no? Please do not come out and hunt us. We do not want that.
But we are the most dangerous game.
Dun,
Yes.
dun, dun.
I promise there's not much meat on us, and like we're filthy too. You know, you'd have to clean us before you clean us. You know, so wouldn't recommend that. No, jokes aside though, there are hunters who are out here. There's just not very many like large mammals that would interest a hunter. I don't think. Like there's
Mule
pronghorn.
deer's not in season, and neither is pronghorn.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you're out hunting kangaroo rats or
Chipmunks.
or wild horses.
Prairie dogs.
Horse hunting's got to be a thing in Wyoming, right?
I don't think, no. I hope not. I don't know, man. I haven't lived in the state for a while, so.
Okay. I mean, that might be part of why horses went extinct in North America in the first place, back in the Pleistocene. It was like overhunting by humans who arrived over the Bering Land Bridge. But, yeah. I don't know. Horse hunting's probably one of those things people do in Europe. You know, they eat horses, right?
I feel like there's kind of an aversion to horse meat in North America specifically.
Yep.
Well,
Not in Canada, I heard.
non-French parts
Quebec,
of North,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chad is very split on whether or not horses should be eaten or not eaten.
Horses are friends, not food.
Laceford says they killed a lot of the animals to starve out the natives. So this is, you're talking about in more modern times, like bison, where there were like, I think there was like bounties put on bison to try and, starve out native people. But I'm talking about during the Pleistocene, so about 14,000 to 10,000 years ago, you had all these critters going extinct.
Native Americans only had horses during the Old West because of the Spaniards.
Mm-hmm. So horses originally evolved in North America. That's where horses are from originally. And then they spread across the Bering Land Bridge into Eurasia. And then, about 10,000 years ago, give or take, they went extinct in North America at the same time that the mammoths did, and the mastodons, and the ground sloths.
Did camels survive that long? That also?
Yeah. So camels were around until, I think about 10,000 years ago. We've got them from La Brea. Big camels, like camelops. It's like 12 feet tall. It's huge.
That's why there are camelids in South America?
Yeah.
there's some crazy
Camels
ones
also
down
first
there.
evolved in North America.
Yeah.
They're North American originals. And then they went extinct here at the end of the Pleistocene. Same with tapirs, first evolved in North America. Rhinos, first evolved in North America. But I don't think rhinos made it into the Pleistocene here. I think they went extinct before that. But yeah. And Euphemisticism says, you all are the tannest people I've ever seen. Right on.
It's like 50% being tan
It's
and
a lot
like
of dirt.
70% dirt.
It's for a total of 120%.
Yeah.
At least 20% of which is dirt. Well, no, more than that. Anyway. You get bonus percentage points because of so much dirt.
There's more of you because there's dirt.
This is true. We're probably heavier right now. Like, I'm going to take a shower and I'm going to be 10 pounds lighter.
Added mass.
Yeah. Anyway, welcome, Euphemisticism. It's good to have you here. And DC70 says there were camels called camelots? No, camelops, with a P. Camelops. was the genus name for the what's sometimes referred to as yesterday's camel. You can look them up; they're real cool.
Camelot, no way. Shakespeare riding Camelots.
Yeah.
JF Camelops.
Yeah. Oh, disconnected. What happened? I hope that's not the stream too. Sometimes it's just the chat does that.
Yeah. Did it fall over again?
No, it's up.
Okay.
Yeah. Reconnected. Yeah, it just does that sometimes. Yeah. How much dirt and how much dinosaur bone dust, says Commander Argo.
100% dirt, 0% dinosaur.
I mean,
Yeah.
possibly, but
I mean, if it's in the dirt, I guess, but like, yeah. If we're creating a lot of dinosaur bone dust, something's very badly wrong.
We messed up. Go back.
or we're just a couple thousand years too late, and it's just
Yeah, it's just in the air. It's having dinosaur particles invade our lungs. Get some sort of Cretaceous disease.
Coming out of your car tailpipe.
But yeah. Special Camel Forces, Camel Ops. Yeah, there you go. I like that style. Yeah.
Call of Duty Camelot.
Oh, shoot, did I just tear my pants on this?
Again?
Oh, shoot.
yeah, you did, but it's not as bad as mine. You're good.
Yeah.
You're good.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
These are, there's already tears on the front, too.
Yeah.
Always bring your worst shorts to the field, because they'll just, you know, you don't want to ruin your good Sunday shorts. Yeah. You should keep a sewing kit on hand. I have one, MF Jonesy. I think it's actually down in the car right now. So, now you guys can go ahead and finish out the site and everything, and I'm going to go stitch up my shorts. Is that okay? I'm kidding.
We'll just, we'll do out everything.
Oh yeah, you can do all the work, and I'll just be down there with a little sewing kit, you know.
Yeah.
In your underwear.
Exactly. No, I'll keep the shorts on while I
Likewise.
sew it and hope that I don't, you know, sew them to my
The
butt.
number of viewers triples in 2 minutes.
Yeah. And Miss Caprikel says, "You all crack me up. This crew is too fun to listen to with the random conversations, in addition to the great science." I appreciate that, Miss Caprikel. You must have a high tolerance for nonsense. And appreciate that about you. Thank you. Yeah.
One thing I like about this
And
is
thank you,
I can
Lenina. I
take
appreciate
myself
that. You know what? It is probably about time
and just sit in.
that we wrap up the stream, actually. Yeah, because we've really got to close out the site. And right before Ken exposes part of the skull right there, we're going to make him stop. Yeah, because we got to close out the site, and then we're going to start packing up camp, too. So, yeah. Anywho. Let's find somebody to raid into here.
Can I just say something to your chat? It's been
Yeah, as long as it's not TOS.
Oh yeah, no. No, it's been an absolute honor being on your
I
thing,
appreciate
and,
that, Nick. Yeah.
You got a wonderful community, and yeah, I really appreciate just interactions between everybody. So
Thank you.
thank you to everybody at home watching, and hopefully I can come back on here next year and do other stuff with Danny. And,
Yeah.
All right, well that's about it.
Thanks for being so cool about the streaming, everybody,
Yeah,
guys.
of
This
course.
is cool. This may or may not be our last stream of the summer here. We will see.
Definitely from here.
Definitely from this site. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
closing this one out tonight. But I don't know. Maybe we could do a camp stream tomorrow, or who knows?
Camp Crib stream, like MTV Cribs.
There you go. Yeah. SVP Cribs.
Hotel.
Yeah, let's see who else is on right now. Oh, Paleo Stream is on. Let's go right into Paleo Stream and see Joshua there doing some paleo art. Here we go. Go to the chat here. Raid.
Shadow Legends.
He's gone.
Got the number of emails I get about that. Oh, could we sponsor you? No, I don't want that. Excellent. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in today. Who knows, maybe I can stream again tomorrow, but no guarantees. This might be goodbye for the next few days until I'm back home in the San Francisco Bay Area. if that's the case, everybody, you take care of yourselves, and if I come back, then I hope you'll be there too. Maybe for a stream tomorrow. We'll have to see. No guarantees. But thank you so much for your viewership, for your questions, for your positive attitude, and for laughing at our dumb jokes. Hope you had fun, hope you learned something, and thanks for everything. Thanks for supporting this channel financially. It's the only reason I can be out here, and I really appreciate it. Anyway, with that said, let's go check out PaleoStream, who, Joshua Knupe is a professional paleo artist, reconstructing extinct critters. Let's go see what he's up to. I'll see you there, everybody. Take care. There we go, and let me go ahead and turn off the stream here.